Yeah, good morning everyone. This is the last FST regarding this JEE Advanced, and hope you have all done well. That is what we are hoping since beginning. So this could be the last one, and we'll see how the paper is. The quantity, which means the number of questions in this paper, are quite less, a bit less, but the quality is good. It's not like that. And moreover, one small encouraging thing is, so most of the questions of that you can solve, if you attempt the question, previous questions also, based on those topics, they created some good questions. So we will see how the questions are, and most of these questions we were discussed already in the class, and hope you are all having those notebooks with you. And if you have any doubt, you can check those books. Now let's start. Here FST 8 paper 1. It starts with the question number 41. So A2ON is oxidized to AO3 minus by MnO4 minus. A2O3 when react with MnO4 minus, it is converting into A2ON. Obviously in which medium? Acidic medium. Therefore it is going to be definitely Mn2 plus. Given that in acidic medium, if 1.5 into 10 power minus 3 moles of A2ON requires 60 ml of 0.03 molar KMnO4 solution for complete oxidation, then which of the following options is or correct? Now for this, actually here, according to the law of equivalence, according to the law of equivalence, number of equivalents of A2O3 equal to number of equivalents of MnO4 minus equal to number of equivalents of A2ON equal to number of equivalents of Mn plus 2. So based on that one, I will take like this: number of equivalents of A2O3 is equals to number of equivalents of MnO4 minus. So number of equivalents of A2O3. Number of equivalents of A2O3, is there anything given? A2ON, okay, not A2O3, A2ON converted to A2ON is oxidized to AO3 minus. AO3 minus. Now A2ON. Yeah. Number of equivalents of A2ON equals to number of equivalents of MnO4 minus, and it is oxidizing to A2ON. Now 1.5 into 10 power minus 3 moles of A2ON requires 60 ml of 0.03 molar KMnO4. 1.5 into 10 power minus 3 moles into X factor is equals to, here number of equivalents. Number of moles into X factor is equals to number of equivalents. Similarly, here they have given 0.03 into, what is its X factor? MnO4 minus 5, right? Normality into volume 60. Now it's going to be 1.5 into 10 power minus 3 into X is equals to, this is going to be 3 into 10 power minus 2 into 300. This one gets cancelled. Now it is going to be 9. Now X factor X is equals to 9 divided by 1.5 into 10 cube. 9 divided by 1.5 into 10 cube. Now X factor is equals to, so what is the value of this one? It is going to be 0.03 into 2, 5 into 60, that is equals to 300, 900 ml, 900, this is equals to 1.5 into 10 power minus 3, yeah, right. Here it is there in the moles. Number of moles into X factor, that is equals to number of equivalents. This one also should be present in, this one also must be present in equivalents, but we got it in number of milli equivalents. So how to convert into number of milli equivalents into, this is in number of milli equivalents. Now in order to convert into equivalents, what we have to do, 10 power minus 3, if you multiply, here also 10 power minus 3 if you multiply, now it is going to be here 10 power minus 3 or 10 power minus 3, it gets cancelled. Now x is equals to 3 into 3 divided by 1.5. That is equals to 1.520, that is equals to 6. Which is equals to 6. Now 3 into 10 power minus 2, 60. Therefore x factor is equals to 2. Now what we have to calculate here? What is the value of the n? Now A2ON is oxidized to AO3 minus. A2ON converted to AO3 minus. Let us consider this is equals to some, its value is going to be some x, 2x minus 2n. This is going to be is equal to 0, 2x is equals to plus 2n. Here also we have to put 2, that story we know. 2x minus 12 is equals to minus 2. 2x is equals to plus 10. Now it is going to be 10 minus 2n modulus, of course, because whichever greater we don't know, or moreover they have mentioned, clearly mentioned, this is undergoing reduction, obviously it will undergo oxidation, it should be having the greater oxidation state. That's why I have grantedly taken 10 minus 2n. 10 minus 2n is equals to, how much we got? 6. Now it is going to be 5 minus n is equals to 3. N is equals to 2. Correct. Therefore, n equals to 2 is correct. What we have done here, 60 ml is given. But here number of moles is given. Therefore, it becomes number of millimoles. Number of millimoles I have to convert into number of moles by multiplying into 10 power minus 3. So, n equal to 2 is correct. Empirical formula of the oxide. Empirical formula of the oxide, actually its formula is A2ON. If n is equals to 2, therefore A2O2, which is nothing but AO taken twice. Next, 1.5 moles of A2ON will require 0.15 moles of A2ON will require 0.15 moles of K2Cr2O7 in acidic medium for complete oxidation to AO3 minus. This is what we have to see. Now, if I take A2ON and reacted with Cr2O7 2 minus, gives rise to 2Cr3 plus AO3 minus. Now here this 2x is equal to 6. Here it is going to be, just now we have seen this is also equal to how much? 6. Cancel. 1 mole will need 1 mole. So 1 mole of Cr2O7 2 minus will require 1 mole of A2ON. Therefore, 0.15 mole will definitely require 0.15 mole. 0.15 mole. Therefore, A, B, C all are correct. Next, A may be a metal, that is correct, of second group of periodic table. We will check. We all know that second A group or second group of the periodic table, oxidation state is equals to plus 2. We all know that both first A group and second A group will be having the fixed oxidation states plus 1 as well as plus 2. These are not at all having the variable oxidation state, but they mentioned it is a second group. But here if you look at this one, what is the oxidation state here? It will be around plus 2. Here what is the oxidation state? It is going to be around plus 5, plus 2 to plus 5. Therefore it is undergoing oxidation. If it is a plus second A group element, how it can undergo oxidation? It is not possible. So it definitely not belongs to the second A group element. Such that the options are going to be, what options are correct? A, B as well as C. These are going to be true. Next. Yeah, question number 42. when you take question number 42, the molar solubility of AgCl in 2.5 molar ammonia solution is nearly given that Ksp of AgCl is 10 power minus 10, Kf of AgNH3 taken twice plus C is 10 power 6. This question is very wide often we were discussed, and we have given already in your notebook also. We discussed in the class, we discussed in so many problems. We had little idea about regarding this problem very well. And let's check once again what is exactly happening here. We will see. First I am taking what we have to do for this. AgCl gives rise to Ag plus Cl minus. Now this Ag plus 2NH3 gives rise to Ag NH3 taken twice plus. Right, now here this Ag plus gets cancelled. Why I am doing this? Because actually AgCl will be converted to Ag plus and Cl minus. This is what we know. But that Ag plus will, if you add little amount of ammonia solution to it, it will form a complex, because that complex is going to be highly stable. Now because of that reason, its solubility is going to be increased a little bit. Now what is the total equation? AgCl plus 2 moles of ammonia gives rise to AgNH3 taken twice plus Cl minus. Now 2.5 molar ammonia solution. Of course AgCl, as we all know, this is a precipitate or solid. This initial concentration is going to be 2.5 molar 0. Now this is initially at the state of equilibrium. It is going to be 2.5 minus 2x. It is going to be x and it is going to be x. But if you see this equation, here this is Ksp and it is going to be Kf. Now Kc of this equation is equals to Ksp into Kf. Ksp into Kf. Now the total equilibrium constant Kc is equals to, given that Ksp is given as, what is the value of that Ksp? 10 power minus 10, and Kf is given as 10 power 6, which means reasonably good amount of this complex is going to be formed, no doubt about it. And it will be 10 power minus 4. Kc equals to 10 power minus 4. 10 power minus 4 is equals to x square divided by 2.5 minus 2x whole square. Nothing wrong in it, which implies that 10 power minus 2 is equals to x divided by 2.5 minus 2x, which implies that 1 divided by 100 is equals to x divided by 2.5 minus 2x, which implies that 2.5 minus 2x is equals to 100x, which implies that 2.5 is equals to 102x, which implies that x is equals to 2.5 divided by 102. This value will come around, actually if it is 2.5 divided by 102, it will come around 0.025. So the 0.025 approximately moles per liter or molar. Solubility of AgCl will increase in ammonia solution. That is what we already mentioned, because its Kf value, it's a quite brilliant value which is given, 10 power 6, which means definitely the solubility is going to be, solubility increases. Why the solubility increases? Here AgCl gives rise to Ag plus Cl minus. Now after adding ammonia, equilibrium will be shifted towards forward direction. Therefore the solubility of Ag plus. Solubility of Ag plus, which means concentration of Ag plus. Nothing but the concentration of that Ag plus, which is going to be present in the solution. Or more dissociation of AgCl will be there. That's what we need to understand here. Now question number 42, that is also over. Now question number, let us see question number 43. Now question number 43. Select the incorrect option. If SO2, in SO2, if the sigma bond occurs in the xy plane, then pi overlap can occur between 3pz orbital on sulfur and 2pz one of oxygen atom and between 3dZ square orbital of sulfur and 2pZ on other oxygen atom. First of all, what you have to understand here is, for example, if I take SO2 molecule, this is going to be the SO2 molecule. It will be present. This is sigma, this is sigma, this is pi, this is pi. This is going to be 2p pi, 3p pi. This is going to be 2p pi and 3d pi. P pi d pi. So which d orbital is going to be involved in the overlapping dx square y square? Yes. Dx square y square is going to be involved rather than involving the dz square. Therefore, that is a wrong option. Next. Solubility order is going to be HgCl2 is less than HgBr2 is less than HgI2. The solubility order is going to be HgCl2 is greater than HgBr2 is greater than HgI2. This is right order. They have given wrong order. So that is also incorrect option. Ionic mobility. Ionic mobility they mentioned as Li plus, Na plus, Rb plus. Aqueous they mention like this. This is also aqueous. Actually what happened, Li plus gaseous is having the least, but Li plus aqueous is the largest. Therefore the mobility order is going to be Rb plus aqueous could be the highest, then after Na plus aqueous, then after Li plus aqueous. But here they mention it as, they mention something else, which means it is not going to be the order. Next. And they were also mentioned another one more part, that is, we will see. They have mentioned that is MgCO3 is greater than CaCO3 is greater than SrCO3, order of magnitude of Kp for the reaction at the same temperature. Order of magnitude of Kp. Actually what happened, as we all know that down the group stability is going to be increased. Stability increases, which means the ability to release the carbon dioxide will be decreases. Actually what happened, NCO3 gives rise to, we have MO plus CO2. This is the reaction. Definitely magnesium carbonate is less stable. This is going to be more stable. So at the same temperature, from MgCO3 you will get more carbon dioxide when compared with the SrCO3. For this reaction, if I write Kp is nothing but partial pressure of CO2. Now partial pressure of CO2, where it is more? Here, where partial pressure in MgCO3 is greater than partial pressure in CaCO3 is greater than partial pressure in SrCO3. Obviously, Kp is also same. Kp is greater. Kp of MgCO3 is greater than Kp of CaCO3 is greater than Kp of SrCO3. That statement is absolutely right statement. That statement is going to be right. Therefore, what are the options? So for this question number A, B, C are the incorrect options that we are having. Now let us see another question, that is question number 45. Let us see the question number 45. So from this question, when SO3 is taken in 10 liter vessel and equilibrium is established between SO3, SO2 and O2 as SO3 gas gives rise to SO2 gas plus half O2 gas. Equilibrium mixture is found to be 1.6 grams per liter at equilibrium temperature of 300 Kelvin. Which of the following conclusions can be made using the data given? Equilibrium density is equals to 1.6 grams per liter and temperature is given as some 300 Kelvin. This is the data that they were mentioned actually with us. Now the point here is they did not mention initial density. Initial density we don't know. And at the same time, initial gram molecular weight we know. That we know. But final or equilibrium average gram molecular weight also we don't know. And this is going to be good question. See, let us consider initial moles of SO3 gas, X, let it be. Say initial moles of SO3 gas is going to be X. If that is equals to X, as we know that number of moles is equals to weight divided by gram molecular weight. Similarly, initial weight of SO3 is equals to number of moles how much? X. Gram molecular weight is 80. SO2 64, SO3 it is going to be 80. Therefore, that is equals to 80x. 80x. They have mentioned that equilibrium density, equilibrium mixture is found to be, or you can take, is found to be 1.6 grams per liter, which means, for example, if it is x 0, 0, x minus y, y by 2, if I take like that, whatever you take, law of conservation of mass should be valid, na? Is it right or not? So, can I take like this? Equilibrium mixture weight is equals to how much? 1.6 into 10, that is equals to 16 grams. Why I multiply with 10? Because density is, because that volume is given as 10 liters. Therefore, it is going to be 16. Initial weight should be equals to, whether initial moles should be equal or not equal, whether initial density can be equal or not equal, that doesn't matter first of all, but weight has to be equal. Now, what is the point here? 80x is equals to 16. X is equals to 16 divided by 80. That is equals to 1 divided by 5. 0.2 moles. What is this? Initial moles. From this, let us try to calculate the equilibrium moles. How can you calculate the equilibrium moles? Equilibrium weight you know. But in this equilibrium weight, 16 grams of equilibrium mixture contains SO3, SO2 and O2. Actually, how much that we have, that we don't know. How many moles of that is present, that also we don't know. We know only weight. Therefore, what is not possible? What possible is number of initial moles of SO3 is 0.2 moles, that we know. Total number of moles is 0.5 moles at equilibrium. Is it possible to calculate the total number of moles? Definitely not. Even you take 0.2, now you try to calculate 0.2, 0, 0. And it is going to be 0.2 minus x, and it is going to be x divided by 2. Now it is going to be 0.2 plus x by 2. 0.2 plus x by 2 never be equal to 0.5, no doubt about it, because out of 0.2, even if it is increased, it can be increased up to 0.25. It's not going to be 0.5, which is also not possible. Number of moles of SO3 at equilibrium cannot be calculated, as additional data is required. Yes, absolutely true. Here some data that will be definitely needed. What is that data? That data is going to be at least degree of dissociation should be given. If that is there, then we can calculate. Partial pressure of SO3 is 0.492 atmosphere at equilibrium. You cannot calculate, because if I know every number of mole and as well as the equilibrium pressure, then only I can calculate. Definitely I can calculate this one. Our equilibrium pressure we can calculate. PM is equal to D into R into T. That is already given. Therefore I can calculate equilibrium. That doesn't matter. But degree of dissociation I must know. If I know degree of dissociation, then I can calculate that one. So the options are going to be both A as well as C. For question number 45. Next question will be question number 46. Statement 1. Network done. Network done by system or on the system lies in between 100 calories to 200 calories. work done should be 100 calories to 200 calories. Net heat energy released also should be lies in between 100 calories to 200 calories. If you look at all those options are cyclic. Cyclic process. For all cyclic process, delta U is equal to 0 as well as delta H also equal to 0. Some amount of heat energy can be absorbed or some amount of heat energy can be released, whether work is done by the system or work is done on the system, but delta U as well as delta H, both of them should be equals to 0. From first law of thermodynamics, delta U is equals to Q minus W. Here we need a magnitude only because they only mention work done by the system or work done on the system. 0, therefore Q minus W, which implies that Q is equals to W. Here I have taken work is done by the system, that's why I have taken minus W. You can take Q plus W also, it doesn't matter. So whatever the magnitude of heat energy absorbed and the magnitude of amount of work done, both should be equal. So here what you have to do is take each of them and calculate the work done. The same magnitude will be there for the heat energy also. So it's a nice process, nice thing to do. Let us check with option A. In option A, they have given like this. See. Temperature in Kelvin 12.2, 24.4. 24.4. Now if this is going to be the one, now here they mention this is going to be 1, 2 and it will be 3. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, again 3 to 1. Now we will see work done, total work done is equal to work done from 1 to 2 plus work done from 2 to 3 plus work done from 3 to 1. Work done from 1 to 2. How to calculate the work done from 1 to 2? For here, temperature you know, this temperature also you know. If I know the total volume, then I can calculate minus Ph1 into delta V. That way I can calculate this one. Or otherwise also we can calculate, even we know the temperatures, no? So we can remove the volume or we can convert the volume into the, we can definitely, volume is given but we don't know the pressures. So volume which is already given, volume is given but we don't know the pressures. So how can we calculate the pressure? First one, PV is equals to N into R into T, given that N equal to 1. Therefore, pressure I don't know, I have to calculate the pressure here at this point I have to calculate the pressure. Pressure is into 24.4, 1 into 1 divided by 12 into temperature is equals to how much? Here the temperature is 298. Now pressure P is equals to 298 divided by 12 into 24.4. 12 into 24.4. This is going to be the pressure at this point. Now 298 divided by 12 into 24.4. Here it will be 596 divided by 12 into 24.4. Here this is going to be, here the pressure is going to be 298 divided by 12.2 into 12. So these are all going to be the pressures of this one. By calculating minus Ph1 into delta V, here you will get, and moreover another one more thing you have to understand here is, from here to here the volume is going to be, from here to here, what is changing? Temperature is going to be changing, pressure is also changing, and but if you just see from here to here, what is going to be constant? Volume is constant. Therefore, this process is isoporic process, 0 plus. From here to here, minus P external into delta V, minus P external into delta V. Which P external we have to take? Final pressure. So, 298 divided by 12.2 into 12 into V2 minus V1. So, 12.2 minus 24.4 plus. Next here again minus P external into delta V. This value will come out as this total value will come out as 0.693. You calculate, I am not doing the calculations, 596, and another one more value, this value will come out as minus 596. So, and here this work is going to be 0. This value will come in between 100 to 200 calories. If you want, you can check. Next, option B. In option B, we don't have that type of problem because both the pressure as well as volume both have given by them. Now, yeah, this is 22.4 and it is 44.8, and this is 1 and it is going to be 0.5. Now, let it be given as 1, 2, this is going to be 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 to 1. Work done. Total work done equal to 1 to 2 plus 2 to 3 plus work done 3 to 1. 1 to 2. This is as much as simple, minus 1 into V2 minus V1, 44.8 minus 22.4, 2 to 3, minus 0.5 into, minus 0.5 into, this is going to be, yeah, this will be, which type of process? Pressure is going to be changed, but volume is fixed, therefore this is going to be isobaric process 0, done. This process 0 because it is isoporic. Plus work done 3 to 1. If you see this one, this is going to be reversible. Now here the formula is going to be minus 2.303 R into 1 divided by 12 into 300. Temperature is given. Temperature, if it is not given, we have to calculate the temperature value also. Now it is going to be R value, you can substitute 2 into temperature which is not given. We have to calculate the temperature because it is an isothermal process. P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2 is following here. Therefore, we have to calculate the temperature now. PV is equals to R into T for 1 mole. Pressure is equals to how much? 1. Volume is 22.4, that is equals to, here I have to substitute 1 divided by 12 into T. Therefore, T is equals to 12 into 22.4. 22.4. This is going to be how much this will be equal to liter atmosphere Kelvin inverse mole inverse. Liter atmosphere Kelvin inverse mole inverse, calorie Kelvin inverse also will come now. So you can take it as 2. The temperature will be equals to pressure 1 atm. No? If it is 1 atm, therefore I have to take 1 by 12 into T. Yeah. Now this is liter atmosphere. Here atmosphere will be there. Yeah. Definitely it will come out. It will definitely come out as T is equals to 12 into 22.4. 12 into 22.4 log V2 divided by V1, 1 divided by 0.5. You calculate the total value and it will come out as first value that will come out as some 22.4 and second value 166.9 will come, and the overall value also it will come around 166 or it will come around 100 to 200. If you want, you can check. C, option C. In this, they have given one right angle triangle. Here simply you can take half into base into height. half into base into, right? That value total work done is equal to 1 by 2 into 10 into 2. This value will come around 1010. This is in joules divided by 4.18. Definitely it will cross over the 200 mark. So A is correct, B is correct, C is going to be wrong. Let us check the D. It will be little lengthy, but we can calculate. Yeah, this is the biggest question in this paper. One, two, two, and here also some 3, 2, 4, 1.0, and it is 2.0, 300, and it will be some 400. Now what we have to do here is simply one thing, that is, let us calculate all the volumes. First calculate this volume, calculate this volume, calculate this volume, and calculate this volume. After calculating all those, we will get 5.6 liter atmosphere we will get, and this value also will come around 100 to 200 calories, such that options are going to be A, B and D. C is not going to be done. So from this we can calculate, from all this we can calculate this particular question. You can check with them. Next, question number 47. See the question number 47. If you look at the question number 47, correct statement for the extraction of copper from chalcor pyrite. Ore is concentrated by froth flotation process. Yes, CuFeS2, since it is a sulfide ore, it can be concentrated by froth flotation process. Correct. Roasting stage occurs at lower temperature than the temperature of besmerization stage. Correct. Because first we treated with the first roasting stage we will do. In the roasting stage what will happen? Iron will be converted to iron oxide, copper will be converted to copper sulfide. First both of them converted to their sulfides. Again further treatment, both iron as well as copper, both will be tried to convert into their respective oxides. But iron has more tendency towards oxygen, therefore iron will be converted to its respective oxide. Copper will be converted to its oxide, but sulfide is more stable, again it will be combined. Iron oxide reacting with SiO2 converted to, yes, what will be formed? Ferrous silicate will be formed. And in a besmerization, if little part, most of the iron oxide will be converted to FeSiO3, and if there is any little part, it can be converted to besmerization, Besmer converter. In that we are going to be put it in the Besmer converter and heat it at more temperature. There some one of the blister copper is going to be formed. That blister copper will be processed to the electrolytic refining. There we will get the 100% of pure copper. Now impurity, yeah, first option, second option, both are correct. Impurity of iron is removed in the form of the ferric silicate. Yeah, don't fall in the trap, because that is not Fe plus 3, that is going to be Fe plus 2. Fe plus 2 will be formed. Next, D. Cu2O present in blister copper is reduced to metallic copper during the poling. Correct. Because you can refine either even by electrolytic refining as well as the poling also. Poling, it contains what is the principle of the poling? When its own metal impurities are present in the form of the oxides, then only we can implement the poling. What we will do in the poling? We will put some coke powder or anthracite, and we are going to stir with the green wood pole. There the metal oxide will be converted to respective metal, whereas carbon will be converted to the hydrocarbons, because it undergoes reduction by undergoing the, sorry, carbon undergo oxidation, whereas this metal will be undergoing the reduction. Yeah, A, B, D are correct for question number 47. A, B, D. Next, question number 48. In question number 48, SF4 plus XeF4, first of all, what does it form? SF6 will form along with Xe. Now let us check. This is A and it is B. Its dipole moment is equal to 0, absolutely correct. Its dipole moment equal to 0. If A is a polyatomic gas, then, yeah, we'll see. Gas A is highly soluble in hexane, correct. Gas A is a non-polar, therefore it definitely is soluble in hexane or carbon tetrachloride and all those things. since the dipole moment equal to 0. Product B is a fluorinating agent. Absolutely not. It is not xenon fluoride. It is just xenon. It is not a fluorinating agent. Gas A has a larger boiling point than B. Very much true, because this is gas and it is also gas, but its boiling point is very much greater than the xenon. Product B will react with SbFi to give SbF6 minus. Who will react like that? If it is a xenon fluoride, then only it will react. Now it is not at all xenon fluoride. Therefore, what are true? A and C are true. Question number 49. Which of the following is or correct regarding entropy? The entropy of solution formed is higher if detergent concentration is slightly less than CMC. Slightly less than CMC as compared to when its concentration is slightly more than CMC. Yeah, we have to talk about this. If detergent concentration is slightly less than CMC, it is not going to form the misli. If the misli is not formed, it is not going to be formed as a macromolecule. If it is not formed as a macromolecule, its entropy will be more. Entropy will be more because more number of particles are present. If concentration is greater than CMC, critical misli concentration, here definitely misli can be formed. Misli can be formed. If misli is formed, it is going to form as a macromolecule, which means number of particles are going to be decreased. Hence, entropy is going to be, delta S is going to be decreased, where delta S is going to be increases. Such that, remember this, whenever there is a formation of misli, there is always decrease in the entropy. When there will be again decrease in the entropy, if gas is adsorbed on the surface of the solid, entropy will be decreased. If gas is dissolved in the liquid, entropy will be decreased. Then where entropy is going to be, again in which case entropy is going to be increased, in which case entropy is going to be increased? If solid converted to liquid, increased. If liquid converted to gas, increased. If solid converted to gas, definitely it is going to be increased. Or if one particle converted to two particles, or if two particles converted to some 3 or 4 particles, then therefore number of particles increases, entropy also going to be increased. Therefore that statement is true. The vapor pressure of solution of 10 gram protein molecules is expected to be more than that of 10 grams urea molecule, as entropy of urea solution is more. Yeah, see this one. I have two solutions with me, one is S1 and another one is S2. In this 10 grams of protein will be there. Protein. Whereas in this I have 10 grams of urea. As we all know that urea gram molecular weight 60 grams. Whereas protein gram molecular weight is around some 1000 to in between 1000 to 10,000 or even more than that also, gram molecular weight of this protein. Now vapor pressure, it's a vapor pressure of the solution. As we all know that vapor pressure P0 minus Ps is equals to P0 into some mole fraction of the solute, something like this. And as well as we all know that if vapor pressure of the solution wanted to be more, its gram molecular weight should be less from this mole fraction of the solute, because the colligative property as well as gram molecular weight, both of them are inversely proportional to each other, that we know. Therefore S2 will be definitely greater than the S1, such that B option is also correct. Next, the entropy of pure solid solvent is lesser than entropy of pure liquid solvent. This is absolutely true. Solid solvent, if you have solid solvent, that will be definitely have the more orderly arranged. When it is more orderly arranged, its entropy will be less. Next, the entropy of colloidal molecules decreases on coagulation. This is true. If you take the fourth option, whenever the precipitation takes place, liquid is converting into the solid state. Whenever the colloidal coagulation takes place, ions are going to be coagulated. When ions are coagulated, randomness will be decreased, such that entropy will be decreases. So A, B as well as D. A, B, D options are going to be the true options. Next, we have question number 50. So what is that question number 50? We have ammonia aqueous solution of a test tube Y is added drop by drop in test tube W, which contains PbCl2. Select correct options about it. So now we will see. So what is the first option? Precipitate is formed during the reaction. So what you are doing here, first ammonia to the ammonia test tube, you are adding drop by drop PbCl2. So for PbCl2 I am adding NH4OH. Gives rise to what does it form? PbOH taken twice will be formed. Along with some NH4Cl is going to be formed. Now let us see here. Here which block metal it is? P block metal. If I add, for example, D block metal, if I have the same ammonium hydroxide, if I add here, it is going to form ammonia complex. Why it is not formed? Since it is a P block. P block metals has the less tendency to form the complexes. So it's a simple logic, we can know. Precipitate is formed during the reaction. Yes, correct. Precipitate. This is PPT. Lead hydroxide. PPT will be formed. Phenolphthalein becomes colorless when added to the solution at the end point. We will see. PbCl2 I am adding to the ammonium hydroxide. PbOH taken twice. This is going to be precipitate. Ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is the weak base strong acid solution. Weak base strong acid solution, it is going to be acidic in nature. So gradually when I am adding ammonium hydroxide to this PbCl2, gradually what he is saying, phenolphthalein becomes colorless when added to the solution at the end point. Yeah, at the end point. At the end point, which means most of the PbCl2 converted to NH4Cl. Actually phenolphthalein will be having the color in which medium? Basic medium. But if it converted to the acidic medium, in acidic medium phenolphthalein is colorless. Therefore most of this PbCl2 converted to NH4Cl, which means most of this PbCl2 is converted to the acidic medium. In acidic medium phenolphthalein color, what is the nature of that color? It is absolutely colorless. Right. Therefore it becomes colorless at the end point. Molar conductance of the solution increases after the end point. Molar conductance of the solution becomes nearly constant after the end point. We will see that one. Now, when I add PbCl to NH4OH, PbOH taken twice will be formed. NH4Cl also is going to be formed. Here, if I want to balance this equation, I will write like this. Here, some 3 particles are there, and after adding, it is converting into the 4 particles. Molar conductance will be gradually increases. After reaching to the end point, what will be added here? Ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide is which type of solution? Weak base. After the end point, who will be present in it completely? Only aqueous ammonia is present. That aqueous ammonia is a weak base. Weak base, definitely its molar conductance is going to be very, very less. So after reaching the sharp of that end point, later on, if you keep on adding the ammonia, there will be no that much change of what? There will be no that much change of molar conductance. Therefore, what are true? A, B and D are true. Next. Question number 57. Question number 57. A test tube A. Test tube A containing nitrate. Another test tube B, which is containing bromide. A is treated with concentrated H2SO4. Concentrated H2SO4. B is treated with MnO2 and H2SO4. This is also concentrated H2SO4. Reddish brown fumes will be released in both the cases. What are those? Here the reddish brown fume is going to be nitrogen dioxide along with, of course, SO2 or H2 also will come. That is, doesn't matter. Brown vapors, reddish brown vapors. Here Br2 will come along with that MnBr2 also will be formed. Of course, this is also reddish brown vapors are going to be formed. Now, evolved in both the cases are passed through water and over starch hydrate paper separately. Yeah, good. The water will get colored by gas obtained from dash test tube, and the starch shaded paper will be turned colored by the gas. Yeah, we will see. First what I am doing here, I have to pass it through the water. First I have to pass it through the water. Here nitrogen dioxide, NO2, not soluble, whereas bromine is soluble in water, and it is going to form bromine water. Bromine water will be formed. Thereafter what he is saying, it is again treated with the starch iodide. With both of them, starch iodide will be reacted. Sir, how sir? Starch iodide, why it is reacting? It will be in the form of, after adding the water, it will be converted to some nitrite or in this with the water only this is going to be reacted. The bromine is going to be dissolved, whereas with the starch iodide paper both will be combined. Therefore, in those blanks, first blank it could be B, which means bromine can react with starch iodide paper as well as bromine can dissolve in water. But nitrogen dioxide, it can react with the starch iodide paper but not react with water. Therefore, it can be, options are going to be B as well as B. Next, question number 58. In this, they have given NO2 minus dilute HCl gives rise to gas. That gas is going to be nitrogen dioxide, we know. When that nitrogen dioxide gas jet reacts with the zinc, NaOH. If you remember, we already told more electropositive metals like zinc, aluminum, or iron, or anyone, when they react with this NO2 minus or NO3 minus or nitrogen dioxide, it gives ammonia. Ammonia preparative metal. So now select the correct statements. Gas P. What is P? This is P. This is Z. Gas P turns red litmus to blue. Correct. Basic. When more salt is treated with sodium hydroxide, gas P alone is one of the product. What is the more salt? FeSO4, NH4 taken twice, SO4, 24H2O. When it is heated, it is going to be converted to, if you heat this one, definitely ammonia is going to be the one of the product. Gas P is a neutral oxide of nitrogen which gives brown ring test. No, it is not a neutral oxide, it is a basic hydride, not an oxide. What is a neutral oxide? N2O is a neutral oxide, NO is a neutral oxide. Gas P is a water soluble gas. Yes, ammonia is a water soluble gas and it forms ammonium hydroxide. So this is the end of the paper 1 FST 8. The paper looks to be, it is little lengthy, but number of questions are very less, therefore you can answer the total paper. Yeah, we will meet in FS paper 2 FST 8.